funny story is there's a huge cheering section right there at the bottom of the bridge.
Okay.
The people go crazy. That was one of the porta potties I used.
Okay.
So I come down off the bridge, everyone cheers, and then I hear, like, as I hop in the porta potty, some laughter. It gets a little quiet. I was all alone, so I didn't hear any more cheering until I pop out. They all go crazy again. And I just dip my head and just like give them a wave. I was like, I appreciate it, but
that's amazing.
It's a dark place at this moment.
Yeah, most runners have the porta potty experience but no cheering. Like,
yeah, I had spectators.
Yeah,
just what you want.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking While Running. Very special guest today, Jeff Thies, the one and only. Thanks for coming out, dude. How are you?
Evan, thanks for having me, man. I'm doing good. Getting back into running after NYC, and I'm feeling good.
Hell yeah. It's we're out in Boulder, kind of just north of town, and the weather has been, we got a little snow yesterday, but today's beautiful and everything worked out, so I'm glad we were able to pull this off.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned NYC. I'd love to just start there. Let's get into it. For those who don't know, Jeff ran the New York City Marathon like probably 10 days ago.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And debut marathon.
That was hard.
Okay, yeah, break it down. What made you kind of think, all right, let's bump it up a notch and go to the marathon? We'll get into the older 1,500 meter days in a minute, but let's start there.
Man, just like, so my girlfriend runs marathons. She's been shooting to break 3, and like traveling with her like last year, and even before that, going to marathon weekends. Like when you're at the Boston Marathon weekend or New York City Marathon weekend, like the running community and the culture,
oh yeah,
is so sick. And so like I just wanted more of that.
What makes it, like, for people maybe who haven't been there, describe it a little bit. Marathon day.
So like just the feat of like running a marathon, regardless of like how fast, is hard. And like so everyone's like everyone's willing to work together a lot more and like help each other out just to like do that, let alone try and run quick.
Okay.
And so the energy and excitement, and then the nerves, because you run a 16 to 12 week build for one day, a couple hours.
Yep.
It's not like the track where like, you mess up one weekend, 2 weekends later you got another shot.
Yeah.
There's so much on the line. Everyone's invested so much time, money, and energy. It's hard to replicate. It's pretty cool.
So you kind of felt that itch through the girlfriend.
Yeah.
First, okay.
Yep, yeah, and so, because I was with her in Chicago last year and then Boston, just like as a support system.
How did she do with those? What did she think?
Man,
what's her name, by the way?
My girlfriend's name is Sam.
Okay, Sam.
In
Shout
Chicago, she ran a 9-minute PR to run 3:04. And that was the
amazing.
Day. It was like, I think 75, 80. Like worse conditions than New York. And so after New York, the first thing I said was like, holy crap, like that 3:04 is worth so much more.
Oh, right.
So, and then Boston was a little bit disappointing for her, but she ran Boston, which is a huge bucket list. So both just great weekends and a ton of fun. And it was great to experience those with her. And then she's from New York City, so she kind of planted the seed a while back of, this is the greatest marathon in her experience.
Okay.
I felt it. The energy on the streets was incredible.
Perfect.
And just having like the most like not random people, just hearing my name and looking over and like not recognizing who's calling out.
Yeah.
Cheering for me along the way was like really cool.
I think it was Ben Crawford, but yeah.
It's probably yeah.
So okay, then take us through like the build beforehand, approaching your first marathon. What did that look like, and was it totally brutal? Did you find that you actually liked it more than you expected?
It was brutal and I loved it.
Okay.
I got back into the 100-mile weeks I was doing in college, and there's just something that like I really enjoy running 100-mile weeks. You're tired all the time, but you have like this sense of accomplishment. You feel like you're getting fit. I did a 12-week build with the goal of like being excited on race day. And then about a month out, had an Achilles flare up.
Okay.
That took me out for probably, it's like 12 or 14 days of just being in the pool or on the bike, which was not the best time.
Yeah.
To be, unable to run. But I decided, the goal was to have a positive experience in New York and want to like run another marathon in the future. So the focus was get healthy and be able to race and not stress so much about, am I fully ready for this?
Sure.
So.
All right. So it sounds like you're definitely ready to go for it again. But let's talk the actual specific race of NYC. I think 225, debut on a tough weather day. 9th American, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
Unreal. So was that like kind of within the ballpark of your goal, strategy, and thinking going into the race, or how did it all play out once you get in the Big Apple?
Well, my goal was 216.
Okay.
Which sounds a little silly after running 225.
I totally understand.
But obviously that was, I wanted to have a good debut and then kind of have a B goal of the Olympic trials qualifier. I thought was very doable, and I still think on a different day where the weather's more cooperative,
Absolutely.
that was still within the range. I think only 4 Americans broke that 218, and they were guys like Fauble and Reed, like just incredible marathoners. So
yeah, we'll get to them.
Yeah. So the race played out, given the weather, like wanted to go out more conservative, and came through half in 69:20, I believe, right around there. And was thinking, okay, like maybe I can, negative split, which is tough on that course because it is, the hardest sections are the last 10K.
So what is the course for the people? It's obviously New York City through the 5 boroughs somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
You start out on the Verrazano Bridge, come down into Brooklyn, or Queens and Brooklyn, I believe. Not too familiar with the boroughs, but it's pretty flat through about mile 15. And then you cross over the Queensboro into Manhattan. You start to get some more rolling hills, and then the last 10K you're coming up 5th Ave into Central Park. And I was at a place that I'd never been in, running wise, like just absolutely toast
right
at that point. And we could talk more about that, just kind of the ups and downs of the entire experience.
Right.
2.5 hours of running, and after mile 9, I was all alone.
Oh,
I was
okay.
fully solo. So.
Oh wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it was
That's nuts.
It was tough. It actually, it's kind of my fault. I had to take a bathroom break at mile 9 and 16.
Oh whoa.
Kind of put myself
225
in a
asterisks
hole.
there.
I know the asterisk isn't on the.
Yeah, but it should. That's
shot.
amazing.
That gives me hope for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so, and then let's go. You talked about the ups and downs. Like, what was the best part of the day, and then maybe the biggest, just L, I guess, in your mind. But maybe the bathroom breaks.
Yeah. So ups and downs. Like the best part of my day was, I think it's like mile 23. It was the 3rd time I got to see my girlfriend Sam coming up 5th Ave, and at that point, like, that goal of 218 was long gone.
Right.
Come to terms with that. So I ran over and like grabbed her hand, told her I loved her.
Nice.
Like, just getting to share that moment.
Soak it up a little.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was definitely the best part. In terms of the lows, I think it's funny. Think about mile 14. I was really questioning if I was going to be able to finish, let alone like run well.
Yeah, I didn't.
So right after I came through the half, probably like half a mile later, kind of realized there's no negative splitting today. I'm not running the 68:40 second half I need to hit the OTQ. And my right calf started to cramp up a little bit, and that's the Achilles that was giving me issues. So I was kind of
Yeah.
I was getting worried.
Dark
like,
place, yeah.
How is this gonna hold up? I'm all alone. And then you come over the Queensboro Bridge, you loop around, and funny story is there's a huge cheering section right there at the bottom of the bridge.
Okay.
The people go crazy. That was one of the porta potties I used.
Okay.
So I come down off the bridge, everyone cheers, and then I hear, like, as I hop in the porta potty, some laughter. It gets a little quiet. I was all alone, so I didn't hear any more cheering until I pop out. And they all go crazy again. And I just dip my head and just like give them a wave. I was like, I appreciate it, but
that's amazing.
It's a dark place at this moment.
Yeah, most runners have the porta potty experience with no cheering. Like,
yeah, I had spectators.
Yeah,
just what you want when you have
that's
to
heavy.
take a piss up.
All right, so anything else, like finishing that day? How did you feel afterward? Were you immediately excited even though you didn't have the time, or what was kind of the closing thoughts at the end of the day as you headed back?
Yeah, so I mean, my immediate feeling was just like, today was a bad day to try and run a marathon.
Okay.
But I was really proud of myself for sticking through it and finishing, regardless of how I perceived it was. It's a feat in itself, and I was excited to do that.
Right.
And so felt good there, and felt a little disappointed. Felt like I'd kind of let my coach down a bit, and he helped pick me up and was like, "Dude, you were 9th American." And I was like, "All right, I can hang my hat on that. Be happy, because that's pretty solid."
Yeah, that's unreal. Also, who was coaching you for the bill?
So my coach was Jack Mulaney. He was my assistant coach at Portland.
Nice.
And he's been coaching a few other of the alums, including Emmanuel Roloff-Levis. He's a great marathoner, 2:11 guy from France.
Wow. All right.
And I kind of started the build a little late and wanted a coach that I had a connection with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see it.
Before that, I was self-coaching myself, just kind of having fun with it. And so there's that bond. It was just easy to start.
Right. Also, you should be proud of, just transitioning from the 1500 to doing a marathon at all. What was funny is I was listening to your Sidious interview with Chris.
Yeah.
And you mentioned staying at Sarah Vaughn's in the basement.
Yeah.
And what was funny before I heard that is I thought your sort of narrative reminded me of hers, who we've had on, shout out
Sarah.
Because she was the 1500 to the marathon and had a great debut, and it was oh, I didn't know you had any connection, but
she gave me hope that I could do it and then run well,
okay,
not just show up.
Put a pin. We'll revisit. We're gonna flip here.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do, Colin. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for watching Talking While Running. This episode is brought to you by Zenza. Zenza has the best compression socks, sleeves, gloves, hats. They got whatever you need for performance, for running. Check it out. All the stuff will be in the description. And thanks to Zenza for hooking it up.
Thanks, guys.
Unreal. All right. Where were we?
So, yeah, watching
Sarah
Vaughn
yeah.
absolutely crush at CIM last year. I was like, this isn't that crazy of a shift. I think it's something, as long as I put in the work and have the right mindset, I can hold my own on the roads.
For sure. People should go watch your interview on Talking While Running, but it made a lot more sense when she described that transition than I think a lot of people initially, think of from a 1500. But talk about more your transition then from Portland out to here, and Boulder, your experience in Boulder in general, and then how you kind of came to the current, you kind of described it as just in a good place, running as you want to.
Yeah, so just to kind of pull on that real quick before I go back to Portland, my coach Jack gave me a little note with a couple pieces of advice the night before the marathon, and the last one was hey man, if this brought back your love for running, you're on the start line 1-0.
Hell yeah.
And Kyle Merber talks about it in his lap count, that like it really helped him as well. Kind of find that new connection to the sport that you kind of need, because it's tough when everything is like in your own mind, all high pressure, right?
Exactly.
Like, all results driven, and this kind of lets you like separate your performances a little bit more, because you don't have the expectations from past performances to like
as a
hold
reference.
yourself to. Yeah.
Also, he debuted in New York, correct?
He did. Yeah.
I think you dusted him.
I was kind of worried. I thought he was coming to get me. He was definitely fit. But
no, for sure.
Everyone was feeling the weather on that day.
So yeah, it sounded like that's kind of a part of it, but I'll let you.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that was like, just to like bring it back full circle. What brought me to Boulder was like, you know, I love this sport and like challenging myself and seeing what I'm capable of doing, and that was the biggest thing out of college. Like I told my parents, like I don't want to have any regrets when I'm older about like not chasing this and like not seeing how far I can take it. So, you know, I'd moved in with my parents for a couple months after college, and then connected with Sam and Drew, and they like, yeah, you got to spot on the team if you want to come out. So I
on
packed
Tinman
up my car. Oh, sorry, on Tinman.
No, you're good.
And I packed up my car, drove out here, and just like decided I was going to make it work however I needed to. And you know, things really took off with the team, and they're doing incredible, and I love watching them, you know, run well, and I'm still really close with all those guys, and excited for them and what they have coming up. And then, you know, kind of the transition out was last year had one race left before the Olympic trials to hit the 1500 qualifier.
Yeah.
And had been racing in kind of some, you know, the old technology Adidas all season, and was waiting on them to get me a pair of super spikes. And let me tell you, it's tough getting on the starting line and looking down and everyone's in Dragonflies, regardless of their sponsor, and you're stuck in, you know, the equivalent of an old pair of victories.
Right.
I feel like you're leaving a couple seconds on the line.
Absolutely.
I ran 3:39, I think 4 or 5 times, and needed like 2 seconds.
Right.
So decided to you know, bet on myself, take a gamble like I did moving out here, and wore some Dragonflies. Got caught. Was asked to step away from the team. Totally understandable. You know, I broke my contract.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're good.
I'm good for you for just like, I don't know, talking about it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've come to terms with it. There was some time, kind of this time last year, where and this is part of falling out of the love of running, is I get a little worked up on runs. I was kind of down on myself, and so I wasn't enjoying running. Like, I missed that a lot.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest thing from this build, is like, I'm excited to get out the door, and regardless of how far or fast I'm running, just like go for a run and enjoy it again.
Right.
And I owe a lot of that to my girlfriend to kind of help guide me through that process.
Right.
You know, it's tough, but it was good.
Okay, well, shout out you. That's a pretty cool story, though, honestly. And I think every runner can understand, like you said, looking down the line, or any athlete, just feeling like there's an advantage to be had elsewhere. It makes sense, but
yeah,
I also
a lot of athletes have done that with new technology. Like, it's hard to, you know, chase a paycheck and like fall. I feel like you're coming up short from what you can come up and do, like, given different technologies. So, you know, I'm glad I made that decision, and I'm glad where it's led me.
Right. Okay, and I wanted to also touch on the Portland days.
Yeah.
We've now had Fauble and Reed Buchanan on the show.
Oh yeah.
I asked Reed to hook me up with Woody one time, but it didn't work out. But
we can still try.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the Portland guys on, but
he's a mystical guy. It's hard to track him down.
I think it was the Jerry effect, but I don't want to get canceled. Anyway, what was your experience like with Connor? Right?
Yeah, Coach Connor.
Yeah.
Like,
and that whole team.
Man, I couldn't have picked a better place to go.
Okay.
Just to shout out Rob Connor.
Yeah.
Like, he is one of the most genuine coaches in the NCAA. and like he supports all 40 guys on the team, regardless of, you know, if they decide that running's no longer their calling and they need to like step away and focus on school. He's like, man, I get that. Like, that's cool. And if I can help you out, like, let me know. Like,
right.
That sort of kind of buy-in from your coach, I think, is so important to like fostering good performances and just a good relationship
for sure
with the team, you and the coach, you and the sport. Like, all of that's important to like running well. So I got pretty lucky because at 18 you don't really understand
for sure.
that stuff. You kind of just chase, like, they were a top 10 school that was recruiting me, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go run there.
Yeah.
So, man, those are some of the best days, especially the 2017 cross season. Like, we ended up getting second, and just had such a special group of guys that were all invested, just solely invested on trying to win that national title. And the practices those days were just so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, like, Portland also seems super underrated on the NCAA scene. Like, those guys we just named, Nick Hauger, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, Hauger.
And many others,
Reed.
yeah. Like, why do you think that is? Or am I wrong? Like, to me it seems, you got second NCAA.
Yep.
I mean, Reed's, like, all those guys and you are all killing it. Like, don't you think there's something to that Portland, I don't know, effect is like underdogs? And
I think there's a positive, like, chip on your shoulder you can take from running at UP. They're still building the track. It hasn't been built yet.
Okay.
But when I was there, we trained at a high school track.
Okay.
Down the street. And like, I remember getting on the start line 2017 outdoor track in the 15 and being like, you know, looking at guys from Oregon or Oklahoma State, like all these big schools that have all the amenities. And I'm like, I can get the work done just as well. Like, the public high school down the street,
hell yeah.
I can still compete. Like, it's a little gritty, and you're like, gives you a little bit of a swagger that I think carries pretty well into the professional scene. One of the things that's a big shift, I think, for a lot of people is the support system's a little bit different.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're in college, flights are taken care of, hotels handled. You don't think about that. You just show up, they ship you somewhere, and then you go race. In the pro scene, like, you have to take care of all those things yourself. And so you really have to want to, you know, work hard and want to race hard. And I think you kind of learn a lot of that at UP, and it translates well for a lot of guys.
Absolutely. That's what I've found for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also you were rocking some Bandit stuff.
Oh yeah.
Should we give them a shout out?
A little whalebone collab from NYC weekend. So check them out.
There you go.
BanditRunning.com. They make some great t-shirts, great half tights, incredible socks.
Love it. All right, and then we're approaching the end here, not totally done, but are you planning on another marathon? Any breaking news we can drop? CIM.
Well, I took a week off of running, so
yeah.
Not in marathon shape anymore, but definitely going to take another crack at one. Right now, kind of thinking run a quick half in the spring, and then kind of aim for another fall marathon. Not really sure I want to try and jump right back into it. Got to give myself a little bit of time. So,
all right.
But there'll be another marathon coming.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Jeff Thies. We'll drop all the run details, as always, on Trackster, and make sure you follow Jeff. Let's go, before we totally are done here, what's one thing about, you've kind of worn a lot of different hats, you've been on the solo grind, you've been on a team. What's one thing that pro running should change, you know, that needs to be changed about pro running to keep the sport going and growing?
You know,
putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, this is kind of an out there answer, but I think, like, guys just need to have fun with it and take a little bit of an edge off on performances. I'm not telling everyone to go race like I did at the Road Mile Champs a couple years ago, where I went out in 54 seconds and blew up.
Yeah.
But like,
was there an 800 meter bonus though?
There was not. Okay. That was the thing I saw in Let's Run. There was no 800 bonus. I did not make $1 from that.
Yeah.
I thought that was my way to win.
Right.
But I think just like having more guys do stuff like that, like shoot their shot and not just be like, all right, I'm gonna sit till 150 and then hoping I can out kick people. As great as that is, sometimes that's the most boring way to watch track.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'd be my one thing, just like go for it.
That's good. Thanks,
Thank
dude.
you.
Jeff, thanks so much. We'll have to have you back on because I feel like we have more.
Oh, dude, I'm ready anytime.
Loads more we can do, but
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it. And shout out Colin Wong for driving. Legendary photographer and guy in the running game. We'll drop all his stuff too. Literally just met him and he pulled up to drive. So.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colin.
Shout out
You want to pull out to the lot?
Yeah, I'll just meet you guys back.
Cool.
at the
Yeah,
lot.
sounds good. Are you gonna keep going?
Uh,
Or are you good?
you wanna get to 4? Or
Are
are you good?
Well,
I
no,
don't
we're
need-
good. You want to hit that trail?
Yeah. I just wanna hit
It's pretty nice. Cool. We're ready to rock.
Let's do it.